Hey everyone, Hans here. Hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to talk about, or I want to talk about two things. Uh, the main topic is going to be about charity, and I have my thoughts on that, uh, but I'll get into it in a minute. And I first wanted to get into this stereotype, or this meme, or whatever you want to call it. But there are actually people like that who are colloquially called doomers. For those who are a bit unfamiliar with that, the way how I see doomers are basically people who have wallowed or are wallowing in all that is ill in society, according to them. They've just surrendered and then they wonder why nothing better happens in their lives, right? So, wallowing and surrender. And they wonder why they don't have a girlfriend. But, or anything good at all in life. The thing with that is that these types still feel shame though, or I have noticed there are types who feel shame because they know they are acting unacceptably. They are mm, they are ashamed of themselves, yet they won't admit it because if they have to, well then life becomes hard. Then you have to do things, right? They have to get out of their rut, to put it as such. And well, the entire purpose of the state they are in is to just be lazy. Morally lazy, physically lazy, and emotionally, well, I suppose, apathic. Now, granted, is there good reason for them to be that way? I am fairly certain that what made them behave as in this manner might be a valid, uh, there might be a valid reason behind it. I'm not taking that away from them, but what I do notice though is that many of them go around and they try to create this culture of defeat, of self-defeat, basically. They basically what they want to do is like they have basically they've bent over before anyone that wants to control them, and they are ashamed that they are standing there like that with their behinds in the wind, and they want everyone else to do it too. They want you, they want Hans, anyone that you care about to bend over as well. So, how do they go about that? Trying to feel validated, trying to quench their shame, which they never will, because their conscience keeps making them feel ashamed, as it well should, for doing nothing when they know ill is happening in the world, or evil even, which means anti-life actions being undertaken. They will go all over the place, just with their dead eyes, their dead gaze, staring 1,000 miles at their screen, and then type in a few videos. And between the entertainment and what else that they watch, that they perhaps morbidly find amusement in, they'll go to videos where decent people are trying to promote messages that tell people to get up off their couch. Whatever you do the right thing. In whichever way that comes. Doing the good thing might be going on food drives for people. It may be borrowing gas money to your neighbor. It may be raising children right. It may, or protecting them from those who want to raise children wrong. It may be that someone is ill and you go out and you go see if something is to be done there, or even for them, for yourself. If you are in a bad place, are you getting yourself out of it? Got to remember yourself too. That is perfectly fine. Selfishness can be healthy. Egotism, that is the danger, and eventually narcissism, that is anti-life again. Okay, so why do I bring that up? It's because I still see people like that, although I actually have to say that I see it lessening. Whenever I'm scrolling on the web or my own videos and all of that. Although again, like 99% of all the messages I keep getting are always positive or or give information. And even if I get criticism, then I reply to the criticism and it stays respectful. I've only had I can count them on one hand, I think, the disrespectful types. So yeah, no, it's for me at least in my immediate sphere, let's say. It's all going pretty good. But in other places, I see that people are still struggling with these types because they do enjoy sowing defeatism. It's all over. We can't win. They're gonna do this to us. They're gonna do that to us. Whatever it is that they try to get you to sit down with them or bend over with them. And because it is the only conclusion that's gonna come out of doing what they want, right? So, one of the means that I find to approach that is by saying, "Oh, so you're one of them. These bad guys. You're one of the bad guys." And that always takes them off guard because most of these doomers, not really. They are not necessarily bad people, but they're not being good people either. They're just these, fakes, moral fakes. They sit on the fence, or they're hanging on the fence, I suppose, still with their backside in the wind. And yeah, to basically accuse them of being anti-whites, for example, you're gonna get all kinds of reactions. Like I've done it before, and I've mentioned it in other videos of mine. Was this, particularly a Russian fellow. Never expected that, but I guess they have him there too. Who was just spreading defeatism. Oh, it's all over. We can't do anything. Whatever, you wanna plant something you wanna live off your own garden. Oh, they're gonna spray it all with filth, or they're gonna take it from you. You wanna go deliver food for hungry people. Oh, but the next day it'll be starving again. On and on and on. Oh, your culture, white people. Oh, our cultures are all dead, the real ones. It was nothing but the newfangled stuff that we sit with it. You see where this goes? And I told them, so, oh, you're one of these anti-whites. And the reason why that they have a lot of difficulty denying this, well, they will try to deny it. Oh no, I like my people. I want to do the right thing. Okay. Now why are you doing? Then why is every word that comes out of your mouth or comes from your fingers in regards to your phones and all of that? Why is it always something that stops people from improving themselves? Why do you want people to basically just sit there and take it? Because only an anti-white could want that. And that's usually where it ends already. Because what are they gonna say? Just come hang on the fence with me and everything will be fine? No. The very name Doomer says that that's not what it's about. And I figured mentioning that would be valuable. So if you come across types like that, don't be afraid to call them out. Actually, be a little brave if you have to. Although these types are unimpressive. You're probably already a better person the moment you speak to them, and call it out. You call them an anti-white. You call them whatever you need to, any accusation of them sowing defeatism, that the populations in the West should just surrender to those who want to lord over them with an iron fist. There is nothing that they can say to get themselves out of that. By very merit of what they chose to be. And it doesn't always happen that they then just slink off into the depths and re-emerge somewhere else. Some of them actually do turn around, because they do not always realize they're doing this. They didn't think ahead. I find it amazing, because it seems so obvious to me, but yeah, the propaganda got to them, and you can tell them, why then don't you use that propaganda as fuel? Every time they say that your people is evil, or your people should breed itself out of existence, or that your people should submit its children to those who hate them, and all of that stuff. Why on earth wouldn't you use that as fuel? Build up some righteous anger, will you? Some righteous fury. Instead of just taking that filth within yourself and then just carrying it around like a lodestone around your neck. I just wanted to share that. Is Hans wrong in this? Maybe so. But I personally do not believe that, and I do not feel that that is right either. Now, so yeah, charity. I wanted to keep this video a little bit shorter than usual, but we'll see where it goes again, I suppose. And I guess you can always turn it off too, right? So charity is something that I think is a good thing if it's between people that know each other, without any middleman. Because charity should be given to people who actually deserve it, who are in need. What does that mean? For example, let's say Hans is a neighbor that has always helped Hans out, gave him food when Hans was hungry, gave him clothing when Hans's clothes were dirty, whatever. And then that person in turn had ill luck, or whatever work that this neighbor did, just didn't pan out, so bad luck, whatever it's going to be the reason, or he had an accident. And now Hans is going to go over there and is going to be charitable in return, because this neighbor, according to Hans, he has scratched Hans's back, so Hans is going to scratch his back. This can be done with goods, I suppose. If he's hungry, Hans can give him food. If he's cold, Hans can give him a fist. If his garden is untended, Hans can tend to his garden. Right? That is charity. And that is between people who know each other, so that it can never be that Hans it cannot be that let's do it like this. Keep that image in your mind, if you will, or keep that pattern of thinking in your mind. Now imagine the same situation, but Hans doesn't know his neighbor, and there's a third guy in the middle. And the third guy in the middle, he says that, oh, Hans, your neighbor is sick. He needs medicine. Can you give me money for the medicine? I'll give it to him. By the way, I'll take a fee for doing so, because I'm so good, says the middleman. And naive Hans says, okay, here, have some medicine, have some money. Now, there can be many scenarios on the other side. Middleman goes to that neighbor who isn't sick. Hey, neighbor, here, your cut. 10%. Oh, neighbor, you're sick. Here, Hans didn't have a lot himself, so you only can have 5%. But hey, it's better than nothing, right? Neighbor doesn't get to see the middleman at all. Doesn't that seem a bit off, guys? Now add to that the middleman one day just shows up with a bunch of bullies who are all armed, and they do the exact same thing. Your neighbor is sick. Hans gives us the money. Hans wonders after a few weeks, how is it that he's still ill? What is going on? It's none of your business, give us your money. And they brandish all manner of implements. And Hans doesn't want those implements to be used on him, so Hans gives the money. Gets passed around among all the middlemen. Neighbor maybe sees with a little bit of luck something. Or even more interesting, goes to Hans and says, your neighbor is ill. Takes Hans's money. Goes to the neighbor, hey neighbor, Hans is ill. Takes the money. You know? What to you seems to be the healthiest situation? What seems to be the most fair and the most transparent to you? Hans isn't going to answer that. You have to figure that out for yourself. I think you already have. So then, I am left to wonder why it could have ever gone to the point that an artificial hierarchy made itself the middleman, and people just go along with it. Granted, you know, those implements are still there, that they're being brandished. If there is no charity being dispensed, or whatever you call that, being redistributed, I think that's the word, right? What a nice name for such ill an act. But yeah, is it then still charity? And if it isn't, what do you call it? And after you've chosen the fitting name, is there something acceptable, well, that can be done about it or not? Not sure if you guys can hear the birds. Seems that they're agreeing. Wow, yeah, you're right. The first. Actually, I can't say it. I was going to keep my mouth shut. Whatever. But nature is always right, even if it's rough. All in all, yeah, charity. I think that's all I had to say on that for now. Just a bit of a thought exercise, I suppose, and I hope it's a welcome one. As far as the doomers, yeah, same thing. It's a good time, I believe, when things are starting to turn around. It's a good time to see what should be shed away and what should not ever be allowed again. You could say, with the one exception, that the middleman is also someone that's known by the neighbor and known by Hans, but even still, does he really or she need to be there at all? At all? Maybe in some particular circumstances, but as a rule, no. Don't think so. And then imagine that this sort of charity is not only about being ill or not getting, or being hurt or what have you. What if at some point there is not even the pretense anymore that someone else needs it? Or what if the middleman has to choose between a lot of people who need it and is only gonna pick his favorites? Or the ones who have their own implements ready if they don't get their cut? What if there are people who have artificial systems in which what one calls charity, another calls something that is rightfully theirs to take from others because of this organized religion or that form of politics, you name it. If you wipe away all the flags and all the the names and everything. Underneath, do you see the same patterns all over the place? Maybe. Hans has his own thoughts on that, but that's something everyone has to figure out for him or herself when they have the time. And if you don't want to do that, fine. But then also don't complain when your time comes to pay your cut to people that you probably don't even know, and you don't even know what they're gonna do with it. And well, all else is gonna be history. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there for now. We'll have a good one, give it a thought, and I'm gonna go for my walk. Bye bye.